Greetings and bienvenue, Midnight Crew. Thank you for returning to this broadcast, and welcome to new viewers joining us for the first time. If you like a video, then feel free to subscribe.
Be me, college student planning to go on a backpacking trip with a friend in Appalachia. Let's call him Nick. Planned trip is only a 2-day, 18-mile hike. No big deal. Close to Christmas time, so we aren't expecting the trail to be busy on the stretch we are looking at. First night we are looking at staying in a hostel. Second night we will be camping in tents at a campground. Our plan seemed pretty bulletproof. Packed my Ruger Wrangler in case we ran into some rabbits to cook. The stretch of the trail we planned on hiking was pretty rocky, so we made sure to have extra first aid supplies in case one of us sprained an ankle. Fast forward to Friday night, drive up. We get to the dirt lot outside of the stretch of the trail. It's around 8 p.m., so it's already dark, but the hostel we will be sleeping in for the night is only around 1 mile out. Get there at around 8:30. Took us around 10 minutes to get our stuff out of my car. Only people there, so we don't have to worry about being quiet. Shut the door behind us, rev up our camp stoves to make some tasty freeze-dried spaghetti yum.jpg. Head to bed at 10 p.m., as we will need rest for tomorrow's hike. Hostels on this stretch of the trail are basically cabins. They have steel doors, and this particular one had a skylight. To add to this, sleeping arrangements were wooden bunks, around 8 total in this hostel. There were 2 wooden tables for eating nailed to the floor in the center of the room. We chose to sleep in the bunk directly across from the door, with me on the bottom bunk and Nick on the top. Wake up suddenly, still kinda half asleep. Check watch, 2:14 a.m. Skylight is covered. It must have snowed. Snow wasn't on the forecast. Kinda odd, but whatever, it's December in the Northeast, not that out of the question. About to go to sleep when I hear a light tapping on the steel door to the shelter. At first I thought that it must be a hiker showing up late. Get up to open the door for them when I stop myself. Why would someone decide to hike on a notoriously rocky section at midnight? Decide that it's just an animal, go back in my sleeping bag and head back to sleep. Around 20 minutes later, I wake up again to door sounds. This time someone knocking instead of tapping. Consider shitting my pants, but manage not to. See that Nick is already up shining his flashlight at the door. Dude, WTF is happening, I ask. You think someone is trying to get in? He spits back. No shit.png. Whatever the hell was knocking on the door, we weren't letting them in. If it was a person, they would just have to set up their tent and sleep outside for the night. Knocking continues for around 10 more minutes until it finally stops. Guess the asshole finally took a hint, I whisper. Nick chuckles, but then we hear what sounds like a man crying on the other side of the door. Not a kid, but like a 60-year-old man. We both freeze, completely in fight-or-flight mode. Maybe it's just an animal, except I don't know what animal sounds like a crying old dude. Snap out of it and decide to draw my Ruger, but feel that whatever the hell is making that noise won't give a shit about being shot with a .22. Noise starts to get higher, off the ground that is, until suddenly it seems like the source is on the roof. Slowly look at the snow-covered skylight. Clearly see boot prints just in the center of it. Pull out satellite phone, since we aren't dumbasses, and packed one just in case. Dial 911. Tell them where we are and that there is a crying geriatric in the hostel we are in. 911 operator sounds like she's trying to hold back a laugh, but tells us an officer is heading over to check it out. Suddenly I feel a bit of relief. Decide to check over at the skylight and notice that now there are 2 sets of boot prints instead of just 1. We ended up staying awake until sunrise, until finally gathering the courage to go outside and see WTF was happening. Cop car is gone. No sign of the officer. Dude just bailed on us, what an asshole, Nick says. Consider calling 911 and complaining when Nick gets a genius idea. There's a tree overhanging the roof, and he wants to climb it and go up on the roof to check out the boot prints. Tell him it's a mega stupid plan and that we should just head back to my car and scrap the trip. He's adamant on doing it. Fine, but try and get a picture of the prints, I concede. Eat my breakfast grits while waiting for him to get down. He doesn't. No noise coming from the roof. Oh shit, whatever was up there must have got him. Decided to climb the roof myself. When I reach the top, find nothing except Nick's phone right next to the boot prints. Yell out for him on the roof, assuming he should be close and able to hear me. No reply. Pick up the phone and check his pictures. Took around 5. Click on first one. Picture of the roof, nothing on it, seems normal. Second one. Picture of the sun. Third one. Picture of a black work boot sitting on the roof. Fourth one. Super close-up picture of the snow. Assumed he dropped the phone at this point. Fifth one. Picture of me eating my grits next to the hostel. Without thinking, immediately get off the roof and run back to my car. Not packing my shit or finding Nick, I'll file a missing persons report. Drive to the nearest town and call the local police department. Hi, I need to file a missing persons report. My friend and I were sleeping overnight at a hostel on the Appalachian Trail, and he went missing in the morning while looking for something on the roof. Also, you guys sent an officer here and he left without doing anything. We are aware. He had an emergency he needed to attend to. Answers a man who sounds oddly familiar. Hey, wait a second, you're the asshole that... Hangs up. No idea if they even filed a report, so I decided to look around the hostel myself just to at least get our stuff and see if I can find any footprints that could be his. This time, bring my Mauser I have in the trunk of my car just to have more of a fighting chance against whatever was on the roof. Park in the lot again. Walk until I can see the hostel. See what looks like a torn shirt on the stairs to the door. Exact shirt Nick wore the night before. Feel an immense wave of dread dawn on me. Know for certain that he's not going to be found, if they will even try searching for him. Go back to my car feeling defeated. No idea what I'm going to do, or what that thing was that most likely killed my friend, or why the police refused to take me or the situation seriously.
College trip to Spain? Rooming with a weird quiet guy. Like 10 years older than anyone else in the program. Constantly making up obvious lies about random shit. Super OCD and changes his clothes like 5 times a day. I still go out of my way to be nice to him as I don't really have a different housing option. One night, I wake incredibly cold and notice the light of the AC is on. Pull my blankets up to my shoulders and notice they are stuck at the base of the bed. Yank them harder and the sheets are suddenly ripped off my bed towards my feet. Completely frozen in fear. Eventually, I manage to reach over to the bedside lamp and turn it on. Nearly shit my pants when I see the weird guy's head peeking out next to my bedside table. I feel relieved for a second, then pissed off as I realize it's just a dumb prank. He laughs, "Want the blankets back?" Hand reaches up from the foot of my bed holding my sheets. Realize this is impossible unless his arms are like 8 feet long and flip out, just completely curling into a ball and staring at the hand with my blankets. Heart going about 150 beats per minute and my head starts to swim. A few minutes later, I pass out. I wake to an empty room with my sheets nowhere to be seen. End up just paying for a bed in a hostel for the rest of the trip. It feels far safer to sleep in a room with other people than alone. This happened a couple years ago. Nothing else happened afterwards, but I still have trouble sleeping alone.
True story. Be me in grade 8 new school halfway through the year, trying to make friends. Going fine, meeting this skinny kid with glasses. He's friendly, and I talk with him a bit. Don't talk to Skinny much, but start seeing him around all the time. Ignore it at first, but Skinny starts joining our group during recess. Do my best to ignore it and continue making friends. Fast forward, I start to notice something strange whenever I walk from one group of friends to another. Skinny follows me. At first I think I'm imagining this. I've never spoken more than 3 sentences to him. Decide to test it out, tell my friends to watch me walk back and forth between groups of my friends. Somehow Skinny is always there, peering at me with his shiny glasses. One day decide enough is enough. I'm going to confront him. Skinny, I don't know why you keep following me around, but it has to stop. What do you mean anon? We're friends. I can scarcely believe my ears. No, we're not. He looks very hurt and walks away. I think that's the end of it, and move on. Soon after this, I hear something strange. Skinny has moved into the school hostel, where I stay. Go to bed thinking to myself, that's okay. I don't need to be friends with everyone here. Next morning, I walk down to breakfast, see a shiny pair of glasses blinking from my table. Skinny. Decide I'll have to make peace with it, but still refuse to talk to him. Monday, after a weekend at home, walk into my hostel room, spot something strange. There's a piece of blue paper next my bed. The back of my homework torn off and on. It scribbled a letter from Skinny calls me his friend. Asks why I don't like him. Says he hopes this can change, and some other things I can't remember. This is getting weird, I tell my friends. We laugh it off, but whenever I see him I ignore him completely and never mention letter fast forward. Matrix, last year in school one day, I'm wearing my favorite pair of pants, a colorfully patched hippie pants. After dinner I'm standing in the dining hall talking to some friends. Skinny walks up anon, where did you get those pants? My mind races if I tell him where it will be then in only 3 days and he'll have exactly the same pair. Decide to make it obvious I don't want to tell him, from a shop. He gives me a strange look and walks away. Next day, tell friends at school about my close call. After school, I went to my hostel room. Wait, what? On my neatly made bed lay my hippie pants carefully laid out like someone specifically put it there. I didn't put it there. Last night I threw it in my basket with all my other dirty clothes. Think no, this has to be a mistake. Ask cleaning ladies if they put it there. No, nobody was in my room all day. Ask friend who stays in the room next to me. Nope. He got there at the same time as I. He didn't see anything either. I'm afraid to touch the pants. Never find out who spread out my pants like that. Many other weird things happened. Skinny once wrote a letter to a girl I had just broken up with, asking her out. He drew a picture of himself on a photo of me and my friends and posted it on his profile. Every time I bought a new kind of cereal for breakfast, he would have the same the following week. Last time I saw him was before lockdown when I walked up some stairs at the same university as I.
Happened 4 years ago, before I was interested in paranormal shit. Only told this to my sister and my mate, both say I was talking shit. Was on a geography school trip to the Lake District and Yorkshire Dales. First day was Lake District, second was Dales. We stayed overnight in the Dales, a youth hostel in Malham, small village in the middle of nowhere with no real streetlights. Getting dark when we arrive because it's early February. Teachers escort us to the pub so we can all have soft drinks and relax. About 9 p.m. we headed back to the hostel, pitch black except for the pub light and the torches we carried. Fast forward to 10 p.m. we are all cozied up in beds and sleeping, except me because I'm so used to staying up much later. No curtains on the window, so I look out into the dark, lit only by the moonlight. Stars look nice because there's no light pollution. What looks like a sheep walks by. And another. Thought I might be falling asleep, counting sheep. Another walks by, but taller and walking on 2 legs. Walking 2 legs. Shit my pants and retreat back to my bed against the far wall. Can still see outside the window. See another 2-legged sheep walk the same way. Hide under my covers and worry myself to sleep. Next day, we headed up the side hill to the top of the cove where the limestone pavement is. If you've seen part 1 of the last Harry Potter, you'll recognize it from when Harry and Hermione dance when Ron's not there. Laughing and joking with my mate about slipping through a grike when I see a sheep laying down at the side of the limestone pavement. It's dead. Insides hanging out and everything, fresh as the morning air. Show my mate and tell him what happened last night. Says I'm talking shit. Dismiss it as paranoia and lack of sleep. That's all that happened. I looked up the Yorkshire sheepman recently, but got nothing.
Few months ago, there's a class trip to Krakow in Poland. Be second day there, I'm sharing a room with 2 of my homies. Let's just call them A and B. At 4 a.m., A starts to make a weird whistle, and after that he just lets out a horrifying scream. I wake up from this, so I'm confused about what just happened. I ask him what is going on. Said it was a nightmare, and afterwards he got up to sleep close to B, who's also sleeping in our room. Next morning, A finally explains what happened. Tells me he was just lying there in bed and staring at this blonde female figure standing between his and my bed. Explains to me how she had like a laugh that was looping like a tape. When he finally saw her face, he explained to me that it was morphing into a new face constantly. He said he lets out a scream when these sort of nightmares happen to wake himself up. He explained to me he hasn't had nightmares like this since he stopped using drugs. Weird thing is, he didn't do any drugs at all on this trip. Ask him about the weird-ass whistle. He said he didn't whistle at all, what? B suddenly explained to us that he also saw a female figure, but with a different hair color, who was also standing in between our beds, and she was apparently looking at me sleeping. This was a bit before A got his nightmare. We all noped out on the last day of our trip. I'm staring outside the window to get some fresh air before I head into bed. Start seeing an enormous, tall, slender figure who's wearing a black dress at a street sign a few miles away from the hostel. She's so tall that her body is shaped like an S. Tell A to immediately come and look. He said he sees a girl, but she's not tall, shaped like an S, or is wearing a black dress. She looks ordinary. We noped the hell out again. However, nothing happened afterwards and we got home safely. Some female figure had seemed to spook us the shit out, because she had a different hair color and shape depending on which of us saw her. It's also worth noting that A hasn't been in school for 2 weeks. He said something had happened to him and he won't tell us what it is. Dude is starting to slowly freak me out. Fucking Poland.
Be 13 or 14-ish. Spend a week every summer at my cousin's place, playing video games, goofing off outside, etc. Cousin lives in the suburbs. Developed but still nearish to nature. One night, after dinner, but not super late like 8 or 9 p.m., in the front room of his house building shit with Legos. Doorbell rings. Aunt answers the front door. Front hall, if you can call it that, enters right into the front room. No extra doorways or anything, so we see everything. Blonde girl, petite, probably about late teens, early 20s. Pretty cute, I guess. I was too young to have defined tastes. Speaks in a thick accent, Russian or Polish or something of the same, not exactly common in this particular area. She's a foreign exchange student or something. Selling encyclopedias to make money, would like to come in to sign Aunt up for a sale. Aunt tells her they're not interested. Girl also says she is looking for a place to stay in lieu of the hostel. We're in America, and I don't think hostels are even a thing here. Maybe she meant dorm? Aunt says something to the effect of, "Absolutely not. Sorry. But you have to go." Girl doesn't push the issue, thanks my aunt for her time, and apologizes for the trouble and leaves. We talk about how weird she was and have a laugh. Later on, I hear howling and barking. Area is known for coyotes, so this isn't odd. I made the joke that it must be a full moon and that weird girl was a werewolf. It actually is a full moon. Uncle says those aren't coyotes howling, but either wolves or dogs. We have a "it's fun to be scared" kind of freak out. TLDR Slavic werewolf girl wanted to sell my aunt encyclopedias.
B-16 go to Germany, Munich to be precise, on a school trip to study the war. We arrive and go to the center of Munich where our hostel is. Dingy type place, but they did nice food. Me and 5 other friends are sharing a dorm. 3 bunk beds all on the edge of the room with a table and chairs in the middle. The first night there, we head to a Hard Rock cafe and stroll around Munich, 40 of us, soaking up the new culture. We get back to our dorm room at about 8 p.m. and we make our beds and properly make ourselves at home. A friend, let's call him Tom, pulls bedsheets to reveal huge maroon stains on his bedsheets. We all do the same, again massive odd stains on our bedsheets, smells like metal. We just think lazy cleaners and make the beds, go downstairs for supper, tell other people what happened. We're not alone in our mysterious happenings. A dorm of 3 found some sharp arrowhead in their room. We all get the impression this place is kinda messed up. Head back into dorm rooms for the night. Everyone showers and goes to bed. Tom, being a creep, starts making weird noises and sneaking up on my other friend Sam in the night to make him scared. This goes on until 11 p.m. Was filming the reactions on my phone. After about an hour, nobody can sleep, so we all agree to open the windows and let some air in. Things start to go weird. We all slowly fall asleep, however, every time I close my eyes, I get these weird hallucination-type things. Like when you press your thumbs gently against your eye. Except I wasn't pressing my eyes, and I had taken my contacts out and I couldn't feel anything on my eyes. Because Tom is clumsy, instead of unpacking his clothes and stuff from his bag like the rest of us, he just has all of his shit all over the dorm floor. This meant that if anyone got up in the middle of the night, I'd be woken by the sound of someone kicking deodorant cans across the floor. I finally get to sleep whilst being woken up by another friend, Lewis, who for some reason went for a piss like 5 times in that night. Wake up next day. It's Lewis's birthday, so we all say happy birthday and all that stuff. Go downstairs with the dorm and have breakfast. Lewis was super organized. Because of him, we were always first to breakfast and got all the good shit. This is important later. Talk about Lewis going for a piss in the middle of the night so many times. Other friend Sam then starts jokingly accusing Tom of being a pervert because he was feeling his legs in the middle of the night. Tom seriously denies the accusation. You know it's serious when Tom is serious. Guy is such a character. We then blame Will, whose bed is end-to-end with Sam's, and accuse him of reaching over with his legs. Will again completely denies it. If it was them, they would have admitted it. We all kinda get a hint of nope, but then Sam notices something. If Tom Will did do it, we would have heard it and we'd been woken up by the sound of clanging metal and crunching crisp packets. Nope intensifies. We just brush it off and say that Sam was dreaming it. Day is pretty cool. Go to Dachau concentration camp and mass graves, tour around Munich, witness a communist protest, etc. A full day gone by and my dorm are all knackered. We all agree to stay up late at night and just talk about random shit. Get to the dorm room, weirdly enough, all of Tom's shit is neat and tidied up on a table next to his bunk bed. Considering last night's events, we all nope that something came in and did the work for us. People then start saying Lewis was fed up and did it when we were still downstairs in the arcade. Organized guy, like I said. What's more, those stains had gone from our bed sheets. Just realize it was probably cleaners that came and did it. Whatever. Fast forward 5 hours to about 3 a.m. Everyone but friend Jack is awake. Jack literally fell asleep in the middle of a conversation, the rude ass. We all then noticed that the light, which was turned off, was ominously glowing a faint green. We're all in a happy mood, so we just dismiss it as radioactive waste or some shit. Then realize past events in the dorm and everybody gets nervous. All eventually fall asleep around 4 a.m., forget most of what happened. Day 3. Lewis wakes us all up at 6 a.m. 2 hours of sleep? Yay. Lewis apologizes to us all and says, lights have broken. Did someone notice it break when they went to the toilet? Nope. WebEM. Our funny friend Tom is now in an active state of nope right now. Wake up, get breakfast, learn that night that an entire dorm room had fallen ill and were actively vomiting their guts up last night. Creeps.jpg. See friend Tommy, he came from that dorm, was literally sheet white, it was scary. 2-hour coach journey to Nuremberg. See Nazi rally grounds as well as go see the courtroom where the Nuremberg trials were held. On the way back, Jack fell asleep in the coach, so we decide to tickle him. Jack's an army cadet and scout, so he could literally sleep through an air raid. He jostles around mumbling things and at one point lets out a deep, monotone stop all of a sudden. Everyone close to Jack on the coach hears this and are spooked. Even the teachers are creeped. We stop, get to a petrol station. Most people disembark to go to toilets. Jack wakes up and says he had a terrifying dream. Too spooky for me. Show him video of him jostling around like a spastic. Anyways, we get back to the hotel only to notice that our dorm room was completely wrecked up. Place looked like it had been in an earthquake. Literally the beds were all out of place and all our clothes were out of the wardrobes. The D&D game we were playing on the table was now all over the floor and the papers in tatters. Bed sheets are covered in that mysterious maroon liquid again. The room stinks of metal. Everyone decides fuck this and moves what clean bed sheets we found and our clothes to our friend's dorm, the one that found that weird arrowhead. We stay up until around 11 with 3 different dorm groups crammed into one room talking about porn and shit. Fun times. We all sleep on the floor whilst the other 3 sleep on their beds. Ungrateful sods. We all have a good sleep until we are woken up twice in the night. First was when we heard a crazy loud banging from upstairs. Happens like thud, 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 thud. Me and some other friends get up and something possessed us, not literally, to go see what it was. We go upstairs to find an old man with cataracts in his eyes shout at us in German. Apologize in what little German I know and go back downstairs, get to sleep. Later on that night, me and some others are woken up by the most demonic screaming from outside on the streets. When I heard it, my blood ran dead cold. Others are noping too. Look outside. Nothing but a tram passing by, pretty scared, shiver myself to sleep. I know, I'm a complete coward. Day 4. Everyone wakes up and goes to pack their bags, get into the haunted dorm room. Everything, and I mean everything, is cleaned again. Really spooked. What's more is my bag is all packed up with everything inside. Go through the bag just in case. Yep, every single thing is in there. Unpack the last set of clean clothes, get a shower and get changed and head off. Bid farewell to the godforsaken place. Either I met a very dedicated cleaner or something was fucking with us.
Be me, 12 years old. Family travels every year. That year we went to Boston. Mom sees an ad for a ridiculously cheap hostel. Her senses start tingling, calls the number on the ad. Guy says to meet him in a shady parking lot. .jpg. Says to follow him in his car to the hostel. His car is an unmarked PDF van. Mom agrees. He starts leading us down shady roads in the middle of nowhere. We've been following him for over 40 minutes at this point. Badfeeling.png. Finally, we approach this creepy abandoned trailer park. Hell no. Mom gets spooked, starts to turn around. Another unmarked pedo van suddenly drives on the road behind us. The car we were following in front of us suddenly stops. We're trapped. Mom says, "Fuck this shit," and slams on the reverse. We're driving straight toward the pedo van, blocking our path. I shut my eyes and accept my fate. PDF van moves out of the way at the last second. We turn around and drive the fuck out of there. End up staying in a cheap motel.
I'm from Germany and decided to drive to Italy over Easter, 5 days in total. We spent the first 2 nights sleeping in the car because we had no money for a hostel. First night went well. Slept in a well-lit McDonald's parking lot right on the border between Switzerland and Germany. Second night, we just arrived in Italy. We stopped at a gas station with a larger parking lot out in the middle of nowhere and grabbed some coffee. When we were done, we decided to not continue the ride and parked the car in the parking lot, which was not well lit at all, but there were around 4 trucks scattered around it, so we felt comfortable sleeping there. We spent some time in the back seat, lights still on in the car, and after about 2 hours, an RV, which was parked about 30 meters away, up until that point pulled up next to us and parked right next to us. Like, this is a big parking lot. There's no reason to park so close. The gas station was closed for a while at that point, around 2 a.m. Then I noticed the driver getting out and walking around our car. I'm fairly skinny, and I know there's no way in hell I can defend us without a weapon, so I pull a knife but keep it hidden. Dude is around 40, not buff or anything, but I'm confident he could handle me, and I'm not sure if he has a weapon or not. He keeps walking around the back and side of our car and fondles himself. Once I notice that I'm out of there, I get in the driver's seat. I don't even have a shirt or shoes on, and try to start the car. Low battery, so it takes me a couple tries until I eventually get it to run. I just book, pedal to metal, around the gas station and out on the road. Then I notice the guy following us. That's where I panic. We're not low on fuel, maybe 40% left, but the battery is worrying me. I drive around the gas station one more time, open the window a little and scream at the guy, "What the fuck do you want?" when he drives past us. Best believe we got the next hostel room.
Don't believe me, I don't care. What you should believe, though, is that the mere action of writing this helps some people, regardless of other people's opinions. Long story short, I travel a lot. You could say I'm a nomad. Once I met a guy in a hostel, we got along pretty well. He was into video games and paranormal stuff, so we had a lot to talk about. He always looked like shit, though. And once I saw him doing something that fucked up my mind as nothing before in my life. Even today, I don't know what to trust about reality, and I guess I don't care anymore. If we're in some kind of matrix, nothing would change anyways, so I'm going to say it directly. One day, he looked like he was going to die, white, pale, and big shiners. I tried to make him go to a hospital, but he refused. Stubborn as fuck. I got angry and left him alone, to die to whatever he was. Never really thought he was going to die. But I was worried, so when he left, I went after him. I noticed he was looking everywhere like fucking paranoid. I thought, what are you gonna do if nobody's around? I follow him. He walks down the dirt street, passes by the town center, keeps walking. Reaches the town limit, didn't see me yet. Suddenly he fucking jumps like 10 meters at fucking high speed, and when he lands, he's on his fucking fours. His arms are longer and his face is all fucked up like I don't know how to say it. I fall on my ass with my eyes a bit wet. I go back to the hostel shaking with that feeling in my spine. Grab my stuff, fuck the job, fuck the money, nope the fuck out of that town. Think about it all the time.
I hope that you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. If you enjoyed tonight's story, then please subscribe to the channel as more Greentext will appear daily. A new broadcast will appear when the clock strikes midnight Central Time.
Remember to check the Odyssey and Rumble pages for separate archives of previous broadcasts.